Everyone, this is Ben from Cheddar Flow, and today I have a very important video because we're at a very pivotal moment for two tickers specifically, one of which is the S&P 500, so SPY. We've actually seen a lot of bearish sentiment, as you can see up here with the put flow to call flow. A lot of bearish sentiment this entire past week, and rightfully so, because if you look at the chart, we've had 5 red days in a row, which is only the second time in the year of 2021 that's happened. And the last time it happened was right before we had a kind of mini correction back in February, between March and February, that time zone right here. So definitely something that could be worrisome. And we're right on the bottom of this big wedge that we've had going on. Every single time we've touched it, it's bounced off so far, but eventually that event will not be the case. So we do have to be pretty conscientious of this. And if we do have a daily close below this wedge, we could see a lot further downside. And it seems like the flow is pointing in that direction so far. So it's definitely something to watch out for. So it's kind of hard to know when the market's going to fall, obviously, because we've been on a massive bull run for the last, 10, 11 years so far, since 2008. So really, we have to be conscientious of these pullbacks. It's kind of hard to time them correctly, although there are indicators such as flow and dark pool prints, which we have provided on Cheddar Flow, that are going to give you a better sense of when we could have those potential mini pullbacks or even corrections. And right now, what I'm seeing is a lot of bearish sentiment, like I said earlier. So this is definitely something we're going to have to watch out for and see if we have that continuation moving forward. But something that's very important that I want to share, we have right here, if you look on the right side of my screen, we have all of the dark pool prints from Friday alone, and it's actually a lot of money that's going into dark pool, a lot more than normal. And that's the key thing, because dark pool is subjective to the type of stock. Obviously, if it's a smaller cap stock, or mid cap at least, you're going to see a lot smaller prints, like in the single digits of the millions. If it's something big like Apple, Microsoft, index like the S&P 500, you're going to see over 1 million prints. But if you see a lot of over 100 million prints coming through the tape and stuff, that can show that there's a lot of money cycling through it. And you can see right here, like if I scroll down, all of these are over 100 million, over 200 million, even some over 300 million over here, and just continuously going through the tape. And this was just Friday alone. Signature prints mean that it could be the day before, because it could have been on a European exchange, so it could have been Thursday. But really, Thursday and Friday, we had a lot of dark pool prints, which can mean either there were people buying or they were selling. And considering how high we are, just looking back at the chart really quick, considering how high we are, it kind of seems like it could be selling here. We don't know for sure. Maybe we're going to have a massive bull run off of this support right here, but it has a lot of people with the dark pool prints here, so it's something we have to watch out for going into this next week. So second thing I want to look at right here is actually the VIX, which is the volatility index for the market. So generally, if you're unfamiliar with it, if the VIX is going up, that's pretty bad for the market, and the market would be going down. So they're kind of inverse. It does not always have to work out like that, but for the most part, that's what happens. So actually, we've been seeing a lot of volume in VIX calls, which is the hedges, like big hedge funds, their favorite way to hedge, which is like buying a position that is going and helping their certain long positions that they have. So for example, if there were to be a market pullback, they can use VIX calls to hedge their position, so they lose a lot less money if there is a potential correction. So we've seen a lot of these prints coming in on the call flow side, and some pretty sizable ones, like around 500,000 in premium. And these are all split orders and block orders. So you can see that these are institutions buying these. Split orders means that they're trying to hide their entire position. So these could definitely be a lot more in premium. Just it's not picked up on the scanners because they're trying to hide it. But that's really, really interesting to see them doing this. And this is just Friday alone. So going into this next week, again, this is another indicator that we could see potential downside, or at least that there is fear going into this weekend. In summary, this week is definitely going to be really, really interesting because, again, we haven't seen 5 red days in a row since we did in February. We know what happened after that. We had that mini correction. So this is going to be pretty interesting to see. We're going to have to follow the call flow because that's going to tell us what big and smart money is looking for, because they tend to know when big moves are happening before retail. But if we do follow them, we can have a general sense of what could be coming. And we're just going to have to tread the water carefully. This is going to be a dangerous week. We have OPEX at the end of the week. Right now is seasonally one of the most dangerous time zones of the year. September is generally bearish. If you look all the way back in the S&P 500 since the beginning of it, you could see that September and August have been pretty bearish each year. So if we're just going based off of trends, we are in for some more downside potentially. But again, Past patterns do not have to repeat themselves. We just have to be smart and play off of whatever strategy we have. And in the end, hopefully that will be what is best for us. So I'm going to go into our next stock. So on a more bullish note, whoever caught AFRM, props to you, because this has had a massive move. If we just look at the chart really quick, look at this thing go. After it had the Amazon partnership news, we gapped up really, really big, all the way up until 100 at that open. And then we kind of consolidated, fell down a little bit, but then again gapped up past this resistance that I had right here. So this thing has been on a roll for the last week or so. And you could see the call flow has definitely followed it. And you can just see all of these prints. This is actually just filtered for over 500,000 premium. So there's a ton more even below that. But just for simplicity's sake here, I'm looking at over 500K. And this is incredible for this thing. Like all the blocks, a bunch of sweepers coming through the tape here. We're looking at over 1 million in premium on some of these, which is crazy. But just the continuation aspect throughout the day of these over 500K in premium prints is something that really is noticeable. And guess what the best part is? Right in our power alert section right here, if you scroll down to the bottom, first one of the day, AFRM, we caught it in our power alerts. And after that, it made a 15.3% move off of just our power alerts. So there were some people, we highlighted them on Twitter, that banked off of this one, but congratulations if you followed that. And we caught it here. And power alerts is a really, really useful tool to use with your trading. It should not be used solely to trade off of, but it's something that you can use as a part of your strategy to potentially get some good trades. So always match it with your TA, also the call flow that you see, and then it can make your strategy overall more successful. So definitely something to check out on Cheddar Flow. So I'm actually interested here. I haven't actually checked this yet, but I want to see, because if we look at the chart, before we had that Amazon news, I want to see if there was any unusual flow going up into this day. Because if we look at the chart, the volume the day before actually was above the relative volume that we previously had these other days. So I want to see if somebody maybe knew something going into it just based off of flow. So if we look at the day right here, you can see on TrendSpider, the day that the news hit was after hours on August 27th. So if we look at our historical flow tab over here on Cheddar Flow, we can go back to August 27th and see if anything unusual happened there. So we'll go back here, go to the 27th, and then we'll just hold it at the 27th here. And then we'll click our search on, or for AFRM, got to click the ticker first. Let's see if anything came through. So we had a 27,000 sweep. And not only that, this is the interesting part of this. $68.55 is when they took it for an 80 strike on September 17th. So this person, it is very, very likely that they knew that this partnership news was coming in, because nobody is taking that 80 strike unless they know something is coming up on this stock. And they got 27,000 of it. So it's not an insane premium on that, but they could have bought multiple orders. They maybe knew something and kind of wanted to be under the radar, so people didn't know that they knew about it going into it. But that 80 strike on a 68.55 spot is very, very bullish for the stock, because this person certainly knew something was coming up on it. And you could see right here, they certainly banked in the course of one day, literally, because they could have sold that out for 100. That would have been an incredible trade for them. But it's very interesting to see that somebody knew that news was coming out, and Cheddar Flow actually caught that. So that could be something in the future. Maybe we can see other people that know news is coming out. Anyways, it is a crazy week that's coming up on us right now, and maybe we'll see some continuation in AFRM. It certainly looks like the flow is pointing in that direction. Maybe we see some consolidation after such a big move, but really, this is a very strong stock right now. That Amazon partnership was crazy. And then again, this is going to be dependent on our S&P 500, because if S&P 500 is going down, AFRM is just going to follow with it. So we do have to be careful of that. Always be checking the general market, because all these stocks are going to follow along with it. So always keep that in mind, especially when smart money is kind of on edge, whether they're hedging or they actually know that there could be a potential correction coming up. We don't know, but certainly err on the side of caution right now, and we'll see how this week goes. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you guys next time.